You guys remember that I made a video of why nobody plays Leomon? Well, that's all about to change because that is exactly what we're doing today. We're playing Leomon. Alright, so here we are back in the DCGO simulator. So once again, huge shoutouts to Juan Zero and his team for developing this app, which is entirely free and it's still work in progress, guys. So eventually we got the privilege to, play test with the beta version of this, and eventually you guys will get to have access to public as well. So definitely check out all the details in the description box down below if you guys want to learn more about it. But here with our HeavyLeomon deck today, with our first matchup, we're going to be facing off against GraceNovamon, the Dawn and Dusk deck. With our opening hand, it looks fantastic. We have a level 3, a level 4, a level 5, and our full line to basically combo and digivolve into, which is what you really want to see. This is after all a stack building deck, so you can grab and find pieces as you go with searching cards like Agility Training, which is fantastic, and then we just need to find like a level 4. I kind of want to keep the Arbormon in our hand so that we can later on, go hybrid for game and not just digivolve on top of our Leomon, since we have the opportunity to do a little bit of searching. But we do find ourselves a Mimi as well at the same time, and establishing a tamer as early as you can, especially in this modern game, is pretty crucial because then it can give you a lot of value throughout the entire game afterwards. And usually we don't really get a chance to play a memory tamer afterwards as later the game goes. Now when it comes to this matchup, it's very interesting because the HeavyLeomon or Leomon deck in general now has a lot of control tools and a lot of control aspects, which is really neat. But at the same time, the way and the build I'm sort of going for also has a lot of explosiveness. This deck's actually fantastic, like on theory, and I can show you guys in action as well, which is why we're doing this gameplay too, right? But we're gonna show you guys how we can actually control board, float as well, and go for explosive damage all in one single turn. Now, when it comes to the GraceNovamon player side of things, it looks like they're not really finding the pieces that they really need at the moment. They're trying to figure out and sort of cycle through. They can get very crazy explosive as well at the same time because, they come up with this Lunamon here. They can sort of like return stuff back to hand, digivolve into level 4s, and seeing the level 4s is great because it helps them cycle through and continue to find pieces that they need to digivolve and climb into their stack and go for big combo plays. It seems like they're trying to find a level 5 here, and if they can get into a level 5, they can potentially get into a level 6 quicker and then go for those, big combo plays that they can. So here we're pretty okay. We're setting up very well because we have Agility Training, we have Green Memory Boost, we have Mimi, we have tons of resources to work with in our next turn, because then we can go into a level 5, go into a level 6 very quickly and just go for like a big crazy combo if we need to. And the other side of things is, it really looks like I think they're struggling trying to find the pieces that they need on their end, and at the same time, like, they don't have a tamer on their board just yet, so they can't go for the combos. So they do end up playing the blue option card, which stuns our Mimi because we can't suspend it, and then they can play their coincido here for free, effectively passing memory back to us too. And then they can continue to sort of like, tuck sources underneath, like tuck the top card underneath and then digivolve into another level 4, which is fantastic for them to cycle and continue to find pieces as they need to. But here we see a very good opportunity. The only downside for them is because when it comes to exposing your board like this with no protection and not having your stack whatsoever, Leomon is absolutely good at punishing this, because we go into this Grap Leomon. When digivolving, we bottom deck one of their 4000 DP or less. So we bottom deck one of the level 4s, and then we're just going to go for the full combo, crack the boost in that, and go into HeavyLeomon here, which bottom decks their other level 4. And you guys might have noticed in many of my videos, I always talked about how bottom decking is so good, especially against this deck as well, because then that means they don't get access to it and they lose their level 4s now. And they're going to be forced to sort of rebuild all over again, but we can establish so much momentum and advantage. This is where the sort of explosiveness of HeavyLeomon comes in. Now, you guys can saw we decide to chip away at their security, and this is one of the nice things with Fortitude. We get to play our HeavyLeomon back because of that. Now we do lose a lot of like our sources and sort of its on deletion effects because there's nothing on their board to get rid of, but that's totally fine because having that one turn float with HeavyLeomon with Fortitude with or Indomitable as the new mechanic is actually just really sweet. It's just really good because like then now you guys might have noticed we have a very good combo coming up. And this is the whole reason why I'm, going for this current build. And yeah, I'm just really excited to show you guys. But if you guys notice, we do play Final Zubagon Punch. So right here, we're just going to go for it. We're going to beef up our HeavyLeomon all the way to 16k, 2 checks. And because of a secondary effect, we get to unsuspend because we didn't bottom deck anything. We go for another 2 checks and there's absolutely nothing but bombs that can stop insecurity, and we win so quickly just like that.
Wave 2 is here. We got 2 new products. You guys love the first series Cyberzone so much, we decided to make some new color variations just for you. We also have a brand new design for the winter season, where we have our second series, Winter Zero. And this time, it comes with different colorways right off the bat. The new drops are now live on the AVAULT store right away for pre-order, so be sure to check it out. Both new drops have single and 2-player versions as well.
Alright, so for the second game, we're going to be facing off against Leopardmon X. Leopardmon X is also a new card that came out in the EX5, and it actually brings together a really cool deck that we get to see and sort of face against with our particular Leomon deck. Here in the opening hand, we did decide to sort of keep because, we do see a level 3, we do have a level 5, and all we really need to do is like use the memory boost to find a level 4, but we kind of draw into one anyways, which is going to be really good because then all we need to do right now is to use our memory boost to potentially find a level 6, and we want to be able to climb into our Digivolution stack as we go. Now, I want to mention that this game right here is really awesome and really fun, which is really cool. And if you guys do want to see like Leopardmon X and want us to see us cover it on the channel as well, then definitely be sure to subscribe, turn on that notification bell to stay tuned, because things are just going to get crazy in this game here. Things are going pretty normal at the start, we're both just trying to digivolve a little bit, give each other as little memory as possible, and search for pieces all at the same time. For our end, like I mentioned, we're just really needing to find a level 6, and we're basically going to be set, and we can go for big combos and plays. They kind of continue to, search pieces as well on their end, grab cards that they need. And when it comes to the Leopardmon X deck, it's very interesting. It's called almost kind of like a green Deva deck. You guys can see a lot of green Deva cards that they're playing because it has a lot of nice synergy that can be played for free alongside with like Leopardmon and Leopardmon X, and it's kind of like a Megazoo style base, but more like a green Deva, green level 5 ultimate sort of like rush deck, which yeah, works very similar to the Deva deck. Anyways, here back to us, we're just trying to continue to find pieces and digivolve our stack and try to control the board all at the same time as much as we can here. Again, with the HeavyLeomon, entire stack and the whole Digivolution line, when it comes to the yellow or the black side of things of digivolving through, it's actually going to be really helpful when it comes to like controlling the board. We want to DP reduce things a little bit so we can, bottom deck it potentially. We want to be able to de-digivolve things, which is going to come in handy to deal with their level 6s, which is all going to be really good. But here still, after going through agility training, green memory boost earlier on, still no level 6 to be found. And it would have been very ideal if we can find one. And this is what happens when you don't. We get slowed down. And when we get slowed down, that's not really what we want to see, because then they can start answering our board and we're going to have to be forced to rebuild all over again. And we're going to be like lacking behind. Because if we're able to get into level 6, we can establish like, a much stronger presence, and we can start attacking and, keep pressuring non-stop and deal more damage as well all at the same time. But here they're just gonna pop off and go into the Leopardmon. They get to play like Salomon searches, and it gets to grabs them like the Deva stuff too, because most of them are beast in its traits too. And then they get into Leopardmon X here, with Leopardmon effect earlier on, everything that they play has blocker, which is really insane. And then now with Leopardmon X, they get to play another body, and because they have Leopardmon underneath, they can potentially just like return this loader Leomon that we have back to our hand, and we're gonna have to like rebuild all over again. And at the same time, this is why this deck is really cool, is because you guys can see they're just like playing their Deva stuff non-stop, and then they just continue to put stuff in their raising with Deva, and they're just getting super wide here. I know I've been sort of saying like how cool the Leopardmon X deck is so far in this particular match, but I just during this entire game, genuinely I had a lot of fun like watching how they function, just because it was the first time seeing it, and it was just really cool, and I just can't wait to cover it here. Right here, they just got like 5 bodies, and they can swing into us. We just really need to try to survive this turn. There's no rush in their deck generally, so we should be okay. Because then once we survive this turn, the next turn, we're going to have a lot of resources to, you know, go for a clapback, and we can potentially even like clear and control the entire board, depending on what cards we want to see and how we want to play this out, because we finally found our heavy Leomon in our hand, which we can utilize here. They're going to go for like double checks with their Alliance, with their UNKILLABLE here. They do hit into a Taiga and also eventually hit into one of our Mimis, which is absolutely fantastic because this is now going to give us even more value to climb through very quickly in our Digivolution stack too. And the only card we're kind of missing is probably like Final Zubagon Punch, because then we can go for a big lethal play to follow up afterwards too, which is going to be really cool. So hopefully we can pull that combo once again. You know, with the Digivolving and drawing all the cards that we need, we can probably find it later on. You know, they continue to sort of Digivolve and sort of like do their thing, you know, play things a little bit here and search, and it's going to be a tricky board to deal with. Another agility training, really good. We're set up next turn essentially, and they just play a Mimi and pass back to us, and we can kind of like utilize this and take advantage right here. This BT14 Leomon is kind of nice because you can actually kind of like warp Digivolve by paying 6 costs into level 6, but we don't really want to in this particular case. We just kind of want to like Digivolve normally, go through our stack. We want to go into loader Leomon. We want to potentially like lower their DP, and maybe we can kind of bottom deck their level 6, which is kind of difficult anyways, because HeavyLeomon, it doesn't really meet enough of the DP threshold to bottom deck one of their stuff, but we do need to deal with that Leopardmon somehow, one way or the other. It would be nice in this moment to sort of have piercing, because then we can actually swing over their bodies and deal some damage all at the same time. Still trying to continue to find the Zubagon Punch, but we don't see it. Here I decide to swing the security, but really I think I should have just tried to swing over their bodies instead and try to like clear as much as possible. But the whole intention that I kind of had here was because I kind of want to go into Quartzmon, which would be really funny, because then we could suspend their entire board, and it might actually help us secure the win condition following up afterwards, because that's kind of what I thought at this particular moment, right? I go into it, I swing, and I can do a lot of damage and try to apply as much pressure as possible, and we're gaining a lot of memory with it too. We do find one of our other removal options, which is like Flashy Boss Punch, which is kind of cool, but not really useful in this particular moment. If we saw it a little bit earlier, we could have actually utilized it a little bit. And here we're just gonna like burn their security with Quartzmon, keep everything suspended, and next turn we're good to go, and we're gonna finish the game so easily. And you know, what can they possibly do with 3 memory? I kind of misplayed a little bit there. If you guys noticed, when it came to like Digivolving our stack and the raising, I went into Salamon and then I Digivolved into Leomon, which I completely forgot that Leomon Digivolves for 3 on top of anything except for Elecmon and the other rookie, the Leomon rookie as well. So I could have actually like, you know, this is why you don't Digivolve into Salamon usually. Mistake there, because I clearly had the other rookie that I could have Digivolved. I had Elecmon and the other Leomon that I could just Digivolve into and then Digivolve 2 and then like pass them at 3 by playing even at least a Taiga or even a green memory boost to search for more pieces or whatnot. So kind of suboptimal there, or even actually establish another rookie on the board, you know, to pressure even further. But here they're doing things all over again because we didn't punish and we didn't answer that Leopardmon there earlier. We're going to be paying for it right now then, because they're able to, you know, continue to use the Leopardmon, play stuff. Everything they play out is going to have blocker now, which we're going to have to try and deal with. They get into Leopardmon X, and they even get into this Kuwagamon, the promo one particularly, which is interesting because they chose to suspend down our Taiga and not let us unsuspend, but they could have just chose our Quartzmon and that would actually kind of seal the deal, but there's no need to, because with such a wide board, Leopardmon X is just gonna bounce our Quartzmon, and suspending that Taiga is not letting that Taiga that we have to suspend actually is gonna slow us down now, because then we're not able to sort of like Digivolve as effectively, and we have less memory to work with in a way, because Taiga can help us reduce like Digivolution costs. They gave us 4 memory here, which we have a lot to work with still, and they do have a wall of blockers now, and we're gonna try to answer this board. Here I did see Lilymon Ace here, but there's kind of no need to go into, because Leomon itself can kind of like bottom deck their stuff anyways. But with Lilymon Ace, and now with 1 security left, makes it a little bit difficult for us to sort of like deal with the board. We're going to continue to try to cycle through and see what we can really do here. But now, even if we do find a level 6, it's just not enough anymore. We kind of exhausted all our resources, all of our green memory boosts and our training cards earlier on. And this is what I kind of like, you know, played suboptimally there, where I could have at least even have like a green memory boost ready to go from the prior turn if I played like the memory gauge a little bit more efficiently. Because now here we just can't stop them. If only we had one more security, we do have some spiciness that can surprise them if they don't respect us, because we do have Rust Tyrannomon Ace here, and we could have just surprised them. But here, unfortunately, they're still able to swing into game just because we have 0 security. Alright, so for the third game, we're going to amp up the challenge a little bit, and we're going to be challenging against the Anubismon deck, which is probably one of the strongest decks in this current format. But we're going to showcase you guys that the HeavyLeomon and the Leomon deck overall can actually ramp up and potentially, you know, take them out as well. So starting off with our hand, it looks okay. We kind of want to keep it, and because we can have our search cards, and here I'm being a little bit greedy again. You know, I kind of wanted to keep my Arbormon to use it to digivolve on top of a tamer later on, and I want to find a different level 4 and build our stack that way instead, so then we can get some inheritables going on. Just because the Fortitude, and with all its on deletion, Anubismon has quite a bit of deletion effects which can get rid of our stuff, but the Fortitude comes in really handy, and all the on deletion effects that we have can actually help us counter against Anubismon, which we'll actually see later on and showcase like how good it actually is sometimes. But here in the early stages of the game, it's just really about, again, like us setting up, searching, digivolving a little bit by bit, and trying to give the opponents as little memory as possible here. Their board looks scary because they look pretty much set up there essentially, but because we didn't grab a level 6 earlier, which we kind of probably should have, we're stuck in that kind of similar position all over again, that we're trying to find a level 6 here. But I'm not really too worried. I'm just going to go straight into BanchoLeomon and just try to attack. And even if they do delete this, you know, at least we still have Fortitude to utilize with alongside all the undeletion effects, which can actually kind of, again, like I mentioned, disrupt the Anubismon a little bit. Here they came out and went into Blue Meramon, and I find it a little bit strange how they didn't go with Wisdom Training and Purple Memory Boost. But to me, that can only kind of mean one thing, is because they're actually not seeing the Anubis in their hand just yet. And maybe, you know, then that's sort of like the situation where I want to explain sometimes with Anubismon is very piece reliant, and when they don't see their pieces, even though they're really good at cycling, their opportunities, when they don't see it, it just doesn't matter, because then we're able to establish really strong board control, and we can take advantage of that. And because they came out like that with Blue Meramon, because they really want to cycle and find cards, we can easily just punish them. And we did luckily find our HeavyLeomon to de-digivolve and bottom deck their stack outside, and just, you know, be in a much better position now. I think at this point they probably did finally find the card that they needed, which is the Anubismon that they need. They finally grabbed it here, and again, it's kind of scary because they have like a stack ready to go next turn here. I kind of realized I could have won straight up here in this moment, because I completely forgot that if I pushed up the rookie, I swing twice with HeavyLeomon, swing once with Leomon, and I could have just went for hybrid for game. I've been talking about being really greedy about Arbormon, keeping in my hand for the perfect moment to use hybrid for game, but here I am, not even utilizing it. So we could have easily just went for game there, but we kind of try to make it up a little bit. We, you know, found Final Zubagon Punch. We have a blocker here, which is going to be really good for us. So we did end up giving them an extra turn here, and it's very dangerous, because now they actually do have the full Anubismon combo, which we saw earlier, and look at the amount of memory and a ton of memory that they're gaining, which is just insane. And all they have to do is go into Anubismon, and then they can just do the whole Merva cross combo, and they have a super wide board. But the good thing is they can't really deal with our HeavyLeomon, because our HeavyLeomon can actually attack. And then even so, with that kind of board setup that they have, we have Fortitude, which is going to be really beneficial for us. So here it looks a little bit interesting, because it seems like they actually couldn't find their Mervamon, as a matter of fact, here at this moment. And then once again, this is a very good like showcase in a way of explaining like, hey, this is what happens when Anubis doesn't find its pieces, because it does happen. Then they're just forced to go for this really awkward play, and they just play Leomon, popping our HeavyLeomon. But thanks to Fortitude, we get to come back out, and with all those on deletion effects, you guys can see, even if they get rid of it, we get to counter and sort of get rid of their stack. We're like DP reducing, de-digivolving their entire thing. and then we get to play HeavyLeomon again, and we bottom deck their entire Anubis, and it's just gone. And with the Leomon, it's not going to do anything, and we just simply swing for game. And this is a really good showcase, and I really had a lot of fun going for this challenge too.
So if you guys want to see more EX5 gameplay videos, be sure to watch them right here, right now. As always, stay tuned for more EX5 content coming up real soon, and be sure to subscribe, and I really appreciate the support. So as always, you guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. See you next video, and this is AVAULT signing out.